welcome to Global Citizen Life. Today's guest is Marcus Svadin. And as I said, I hope I didn't butcher that too much, but thank you so much for joining us today.
No worries. Thanks for having me. You didn't do too bad. I've heard worse.
Okay, well, that's good. So can you just share with our listeners a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey and how you got started?
Oh, man. It's a long story. Okay, so basically, I'm a industrial electrician by trade. And probably back in like 2015, I saw this ad on Facebook about affiliate marketing. And I was like, well, that sounds awesome. You know, like I sell other people's products, I get paid, laptop lifestyle, blah, 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 blah. So I jumped on the whole ClickFunnels affiliate bandwagon. And I did that for about, I don't know, maybe 6 months, something like that. And I realized, though, this sucks. I'm not making any money. I've literally spent thousands of dollars trying to learn how to do this nonsense. And it's just not working, right? So I was like, oh, but what I did notice, though, well, what I come to find out was two things. A, I wanted to work for myself because I kind of liked it. Mm-hmm. And B, everyone needs traffic. Like everyone needs traffic. So if your local store, you need foot traffic. You know, if you're an online business, coach, consultant, e-commerce, whatever, you need internet traffic.
Right.
So I started doing a bit of like email marketing, started my little email marketing business. And that went okay for a couple of years. But it was hard. Like I was a commodity and people were always complaining because their sales processes sucked. And so they were blaming me. And so I was like, oh, this isn't working. So then I started getting more into Facebook ads. And then I started doing that for some friends of mine and some of their friends and whatnot. And at the same time I was doing this, I was still like, you know, doing my industrial electrician stuff.
You still have the day job, and this was kind of your side, kind of your side, what we'd call now the side hustle.
Yeah, my side hustle. That's right. Yeah, that's right. So, anyways, so then one day I was at work. I wasn't at work. One day I took my son to a trampoline arena / death trap for adults. Because especially dads, so I have 4 kids, right? And sometimes I forget that I'm not 15 anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I was acting like a 15-year-old on a trampoline, and I was jumping sideways from one trampoline to another trampoline, and my knee came down. So when I came down, my right knee went to go dislocate.
Oh.
Yeah. It was probably by far, it was not by far. Yeah, it was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. It felt like someone came up, hit me in the knee with a baseball bat and lit me on fire.
Oh.
Like, lit my knee on fire. And so basically my ACL got severed totally in half. My MCL, it came off, like the bottom half of my MCL just came off. And I think it was the PCL in the back got ripped. My meniscus got damaged. Like I did a full-on proper job. Now I'm 6'2" and I'm about 205 pounds. So I'm not light. I'm not a small little man. And and I was supposed to start a new job.
Oh no.
In 7 days, in a week from then. I was supposed to start a new job. I was making like 160 grand a year with benefits, with also like it was gonna be, I was gonna be working like 5 months of the year. Like it was schmicko, right? Full on sick. So anyways, they held that job for me for about 7 months. And then they called me up and they said, look, are you ever going to, I said, yes, but I don't know when. Like, I honestly, because I can't squat. I can't squat and duck walk because that's part of physical. You have to be able to duck walk. Because I can't. I don't know. And I said, look, honestly, just give the job over to someone else. I mean, hopefully, yeah. Anyways, so during that time, though, my other Facebook stuff picked up really good, really well. So that kind of kept me going. And then my best friend, Ben Jones, who's my business partner, we started up Titan Marketer, and we started doing Google ads for people, but then we evolved into YouTube ads. And so we've spent the past year and a half, 2 years, just specialized, just doing YouTube ads, coaching it, teaching it, doing agency for it. But we've been doing YouTube ads for ourselves for about 4 years now. About 4 years.
And so have you stopped the Facebook ads and now your focus is just the YouTube?
Yeah. So we only offer our YouTube ad services because like hardly anyone does it. Hardly anyone offers it. Hardly anyone ever offers like coaching for it and all that. And we're pretty good at it. We're pretty good at it. So I was like, well, we'll just stick with this and we'll niche down to just YouTube ads. So that's kind of my journey. And even today, we do quite well. We're 7 figures easy a year now. And even today, there are some days I'm just like, what the freak am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? Like, I could literally be working 5 months of the year, stress-free. I won't be making as much money, but I'll have more time. Like, I won't have late nights and early mornings and all this nonsense and having to deal with employees and
I understand. There's pros and cons to everything. And
exactly.
For some people, entrepreneurship is not the right way to go. It's not the
100%.
best for them. And
100%.
And I'm glad you brought that up because I do think that people need to think about that and realize it, because there's like, I've been pretty much self-employed almost my whole working life, except for my early years of work.
Yeah.
And I couldn't imagine me doing a 9 to 5. I mean, there's been times I'm not like, there's been times I'm like, oh my, you know what? I'd rather just go to a 9 to 5, go do my job and be done. And have my evenings off, have my weekends off, get my paid vacation, whatever, however long it's going to be, and not have the stresses and the worries and the long hours and days. So it seems like it's been sort of glamorized a lot over the last few years. Like, oh, I'm self-employed. Oh, I work, 4 hours a week and that's it. And I mean, I don't think anybody really works 4 hours a week.
That's it. Like, there are many times where, I could just turn off at 5 o'clock and just spend time with my family, my kids, my wife, but for all the emotional roller coaster there is, right, which is used sometimes a daily occurrence, right? I couldn't go back. I couldn't go back because I would lose a lot of the freedoms that I've come to enjoy, right? So, like, for example, I can just take I like prospecting for gold. So I just go in the middle of the Australian outback with detectors and shovels and dig holes, right? Okay. I love doing it. And so I can just go for 2 weeks, take my kids with me, and I can just go for 2 weeks. I don't need to ask permission to go. I can coach my kids' soccer teams and basketball teams during the week, and then go to their games on the weekends. And it just allows me to do what I want when I want. But that comes with baggage, you know. So
Absolutely. There's a trade-off. There's the
that comes with
trade-off.
stress and hardship and whatnot, and I'm just not, and having to deal with the tax man, and that just ticks me off even more. So
Well, I don't think, no offense to any, if there's a tax man listening, no offense, but I don't think anybody really likes the tax man.
no, I actually have I actually have a client who's a tax lawyer, and
Okay.
and he's helped me out a few times, but yeah, so but yeah, I love it, but it's a love-hate relationship.
Right. And you know what? But I think even if you did go back to that job, and you were in corporate again and stuff, it would be the same type of thing. You would probably have a bit of a love-hate with it as well, because there would be aspects about it that you do love, but then
Mhm.
there's always things that we have to do that we don't enjoy, whether you work for somebody or you work for yourself. I don't know of anybody who doesn't have at least some tasks or things that they have to do that they don't really enjoy doing. I don't want to say that they hate doing it, but because we try to, for myself anyway, the things that I really dislike doing, I try to get a VA to do it or hire somebody to do some stuff. But
Yeah,
there's still tasks that I have to do that I don't enjoy.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Great. So for you, you've gone through from Facebook ads to Google, and you're finding that that's definitely working a lot better for your clients. So what types of things do you do within your own business to increase your profitability?
So obviously there's paid advertising, which we spend probably 80% of our ad spend on YouTube ads. And then we spend a lot of money on, well, no, we didn't spend the rest of it on like retargeting on YouTube, on Facebook, and the display network. And so what we do is we do direct marketing, and then we run like live virtual events. We'll run live in-person events. So like, for example, we're looking to come to Florida or Texas later this year, maybe later this year, maybe early next year, to do some 3-day events and there in the States. And then we do organic stuff. So I have a YouTube channel that I started in March. So I was really great at paid advertising on YouTube. And then a friend of mine who's really good at organic YouTube comes to me. He's like, dude, you should be doing organic. I'm like, dude, I don't have time for that nonsense. And but he's like, no, I'll help you. I'll coach you. I'm like, okay, fine. So I've started doing my YouTube channel, and that's started going really good, actually. I'm actually super surprised and been super blessed with that. And then we've been doing podcasts. We've been like really trying to do more of the organic stuff, as well as the paid stuff. But really, the biggest needle mover has been having our own team, right? So I come across so many solopreneurs who are just kind of like doing it themselves, and they may go to Fiverr or Upwork, to hire out some website jobs or whatever it may be. But it was when we got our project manager and our own web people and our own video editors and graphic designers and my VAs. We did have a copywriter, but then we got really good with ChatGPT 4.0. And so we're like, oh, we don't really need you anymore. So, but it was what's really moved the needle for us the most is having the team.
So
Right.
for people who are maybe just starting out, or just the solo person, they're, going through trying to do everything themselves, who do you think is kind of the first hire to be kind of the most important to start building that team?
A VA.
A
A
VA, just
VA.
to give them
Because,
tasks
man,
that they don't like doing?
exactly. What are some tasks that you don't like to do? Like for me, example, I don't like creating contracts and agreements, all that nonsense. So I get my VA to do it. Okay, I don't have time to, for example, find podcasts and put myself in podcasts, right? So I get my VA to do it, right? And so, well, I've found a course. Like I did some training. I got my VA to do some training that I paid for. So hey, do this for me. Watch this. So I'm giving her skills, right? Making her more employable. At the same time, I'm saving myself a truck ton of time, right? And drama and yeah. So there's that, and then like all my social media stuff. Like I'll create content, but they post it out, they put it everywhere. You don't, as the head honcho of your business, the stuff you don't need to be doing. So the stuff that I do is creating content. I create content, right? Whether it's an ad, whether it's I help create emails. I don't send emails out, but I create them. Right? I look over the copy because that makes me money.
Right.
Anything that makes me money, I focus on. Everything else can be divvied out to someone else. So if you're finding that you spend hours and hours on website design, get a web designer, pay him by the hour. You don't have to pay him every week, every month, every week, like a set salary. Just pay him every hour. And then once you get a team big enough, then you get a project manager. So, but I would start with the VA because there's a lot of tasks that most bosses, and I wouldn't say boss, but most entrepreneurs are doing that they don't need to be doing because it's a waste of time. It's not profitable, I should say. Nothing's a waste of time, but it's not as profitable. There's good, better, and best. Right.
Or I was going to say like that 80-20 rule that really for a lot of us or a lot of people, that 20% of the things we do are bringing in 80% of the money. And so we need to, that 80% of all the other stuff that's being done, the majority of that needs to kind of go onto somebody else's plate to focus more on that 20% of those money making tasks that need to be done.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And for some though, like me, like I always have problems of, I don't want to say it's giving up control because it's not really the control now. I think it used to be, but it's also to finding the right person. Because I know for myself, there's been times like by the time I train the person and I go through it and then they've done a terrible job and I try and show them how to redo it. And I hate firing people. Like it sucks. I always feel bad, but then I'm kind of starting all over. And then my mind says, see, you should have just did it yourself to begin with. But I know that's not like, I can't keep me doing that. But those are things that, I'm sure as us as entrepreneurs and especially just starting out, or as they're building up, more and more tasks they're having to do, and we just can't do everything.
Yeah, exactly. That's a tough one because, like, we heavily screen our employees that we bring on and our contractors. So here's a couple of tidbits that we do to find superstar, like employees or contractors. So basically, when we put an ad out or like a form or whatever we call it for say a new website designer, right? We have this whole page of instructions and what we want and yada yada yada. And towards the bottom, like in the middle of a paragraph, we'll put, for your subject, for the subject line for your application, put website ninja. Okay. And then we also say, look, create a video of, a 1-minute video explaining why you're the best fit for this job. So what you'll find is like 90% of people that apply for the job, they will not put website ninja or whatever you put in there. So, okay, well, I'm not hiring them because they obviously don't listen and read and whatnot.
Or pay attention to detail or
attention to detail, which is what I want, right? And then out of that rest of that 10%, usually like half of that 10%, so 5% of the original, they'll be the ones that put the video and have website ninja. So half won't do the video. Okay, we'll get rid of them because I told them to create a video, they didn't do it, so I don't want to listen to them. So now I have the remaining cream of the crop which is the top 5% who had the website ninja and who did a video. And I just go through a process of talking to them and make sure that, the personalities are right and that kind of thing, and qualifications are good. And we've been doing that, and we've only had a couple little hiccups every now and then. But
That's
what I do. If you're looking to hire good people, that's what I do. Just to get rid of a lot of the junk in the beginning.
right. I was hiring a while ago, and when I first put out that I was hiring, I think I started out with, it was close to like 200 applications. It was overwhelming.
Yeah.
But quite quickly, a lot of them had dropped off. Like, I would say thank you, and I would send them an email, and I would sometimes do, as you said, like to put something in the subject line or something just to see if they're reading it all. And I made the process over about the span of a week. So it was about 4 or 5 emails. I would ask a few questions. Some then would just never even answer the questions.
Yeah.
Some would get back to me, and then I would ask them a couple more, and to see, because then for me, it was to see how many were really serious and how many people just kind of apply for anything and hope that it works and sticks. And so yeah, there's sometimes some little tricks and tips for getting through the majority of those. But I like that, hiding in there in the subject line, something
That's it.
very specific for that. Excellent. And what about, have you done any kind of cost cutting things? I know, because you do a lot of online stuff, you've got your team. So as you were building up, kind of through the learning process, were there some things that you were doing and then you think, you know what, that's just not efficient, or we don't need maybe some specific software, or maybe you bought software because it costs of manually doing things?
Yeah, man, online software, it's crazy. Like, we'll buy softwares and then we'll use it for a season, and it's like we forget we have it, and then it's like, oh, we're still paying for that. Why are we still paying for that? Like, we haven't used that in like 7 months. Like, why are we still paying for it? So it's just, I swear, I reckon these software companies, I reckon like half of their income comes from people who aren't even using their softwares anymore, but I've just forgotten about it,
I think we've all done that. We've all kind of done that, or we barely use it at all. So yeah.
Yeah. When COVID came, that kicked us around a bit, and we looked at cost cutting, which was our team. Like, who do we cut? Like, we every time we went to look at it, it was like, we can't cut down. We can't cut down. We can't cut down. Like, who do we cut? And then, and in the end, it was just softwares. So for example, we looked at, what are we using on a monthly basis? All right, well, if we're not using it on a monthly basis, then cut it. All right, if it's not making our life a lot easier, cut it. Or our employees' lives a lot easier, cut it. So we probably every 3 months, maybe every 4 months, I'll just speak to my project manager and I'll say, hey, G-Rouse, I said, look, what softwares aren't we using anymore? Like, because we have these expenses coming out. What aren't we using? We're using this, and this. And then we'll just maybe cut one every now and then. But I don't, it's hard. Like, we run pretty lean to maximize. Obviously, we want to maximize our profits. So, so we can take care of ourselves and take care of our employees and whatnot.
Right.
But sometimes when you make a cut, like if you cut a person, for example, it may be a short-term gain, but it's a long-term loss, man. So yeah, because like we looked at cutting our project manager, and because we're paying him the most, and we were like, no. No, we looked at it, we considered it for a couple of weeks. We're like, no, we can't. We can't.
Because the long-term cost wouldn't
Exactly.
save the short-term cost.
Exactly. And to find him, and like a lot of times you spend all this time trying to find these superstar employees. Well, do I want to go through the whole process again? And we've just trained them up for the past year, or the past 6 months, and they're really good. But, yeah. unless it came down between like me feeding my family and me paying them, then I'm keeping them on.
Right, right. But you know what, I really like that, you know, what people could probably do is even every quarter to go through all of their kind of expenses and say, what software are we using? What are we not using? Or which ones, you know, maybe sometimes we have the similar things, or, you know, that they do very similar things and we can cut costs with just getting rid of some of the software,
Yeah.
or finding a different version, because that's the thing with technology. There's always new stuff. It's always changing. And sometimes it's kind of hard to stay on top of all of that.
Yeah, it certainly is. But I have people that do that for me.
But that's great though, because, but you, again, that's where sometimes people, you want to keep those people because then they know, and instead of you having to then figure it out and go through it. So,
Exactly.
so if they're definitely, they're a good employee, we definitely want to keep them, because long term it's much better.
For sure. Yep.
And have you ever thought of or utilized any international tax planning to minimize your taxes or liabilities?
No. Yes, I've thought about it. We've thought about it. And, you know, having like, oh, our customers in this country and then our business is based in that country, but we live in this country. And
Mhm.
we've thought about that, and we are looking at that, but that dream has not become a reality yet.
Okay.
So yeah, what's the word? Is a sovereign, the sovereign man, or something like that.
Yeah,
We see, you
there's
know,
a few, or some know it as like planting flags,
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
flag theory
We
and planting
we looked
flags.
at
And
that.
you know, it's not for everyone, right? And it depends on what people are doing and things like that. So
Yeah, I looked at doing stuff like that, but with I think it'd be very difficult on my kids. I could do it easy. I could, no problem, you know. But some of the countries that we looked at where where we would live, like we'd have our clients in the US, Australia, whatever,
mhm.
and then our business is based out of like, I think it's Thailand or Taiwan or one of those places. And then like we would live in like uh some South American country or whatever it was. And then yeah, but my kids were like, I was like, that's not very good with my kids.
Right.
So yeah, as much as I hate taxes, I love my kids more. So it's, yeah,
Yeah, well, that's good. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
you have to look at it kind of as a holistic, and sometimes it's just timing, sometimes it just doesn't, um, you know, it's just not the right time for some.
Yeah,
So,
maybe once my kids are out of the house and have their own kids, everything, and then yeah, I'll do it myself. But it's not really on my to-do list at the moment or my priority right now.
right. Okay, great. For you, what are some of the most important habits or routines that have helped you maintain productivity and focus?
It's a good question. One of the most important habits that I do to help me maintain focus um, is eating well. Um, but I also do fasting, like intermittent fasting,
Mhm.
quite regularly,
Okay.
and that helps me. Like I find that really helps me during the day stay focused. As far as diet goes, mind you, I
Mhm.
also sit on my butt a lot on my chair here,
Mhm.
so so that also helps me maintain my dad bod, and and I what else do I do? I just I just have to get away every day. Like I go for a walk with my wife at the end of the day for about an hour.
Oh, good.
I spend time with the kids. I get away from everything. I just every day for a little bit. I get away from the computer. I get away from the phone. I turn off, you
Mhm.
know, and then I'll go out with my kids and I'll play soccer with them, or I'll you know, do a bit of fishing, that kind of thing. I love fishing, love the ocean. And that just helps recharge myself, because you can just get lost into it. Like I can get lost into, creating content, or, dealing with clients and that sort of stuff. But it's in sleep, like I need sleep. I need good sleep. So I make sure that, I'm a bit bad. I'm still a little bad at it, but like there'll be days where I won't go to bed till like 2 a.m, 1 a.m, but I can't do that. I can't be doing that. So I've past month or so, actually 2 months, I've been trying to go to bed before midnight every night. Like, I know it still sounds kind of late, but for me, that's like really early,
Mhm.
And it just helps my sleep. It helps me focus, helps my emotional roller coaster with being a business owner.
Mhm.
Um, and it's just eating right, sleeping well, and just trying to be a good dad and father. That really helps focus, because if I have a bad relationship with my kids, a bad relationship with my wife, well, what's the point of this? Like,
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
it's just those, yeah, eating, like being active, diet, and relationship health, or like
Mm.
help
And
me stay
disconnecting
focused.
sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but those are probably the three biggest things that I do to stay focused,
Yeah.
and keep me on track.
Yeah. Good. Well, those are good things, and I think we all need to be making sure that, especially with a lot of us that are sitting all day. I'm the same. I try to get to the gym, go for a walk, to eat really well. I've kind of played with the intermittent fasting a little bit, and it's tough for me sometimes because of my travel schedule.
Yeah,
So it's finding those things, but I also love doing things where I'm just like, don't have my phone with me. And I'll
yeah,
go for a weekend, or sometimes even just a day, and it's no phone, no computer, no nothing, like digital detox. And it's that.
yeah,
And I don't feel like I'm missing out, because I know everything that needs to be done will still need to be done. But it's for me, and then I feel better. And then getting back, I'm like, oh, okay, now what can I do? Because then once we're rested and refreshed, we get things done quicker, because if we're tired or sluggish, it takes us longer to do those tasks anyway.
yeah. That's right. That's right. And if you're tired and sluggish, you do a worse job.
Yeah.
You do a worse job. So I'm just like, no, I need sleep. I need to eat right. I need my fruit and veg and my meat. And yeah, I stay away from junk food and whatnot. Unless of course my daughter goes and buys me one. I'm like, okay, fine. But yeah, she has
Well,
a habit of
a little
she
bit
ha-
every now and then is okay.
she has a habit of going to the store on her way home from school, because she'd ride their
Mm,
bikes, and then she'll stop by the store and she'll like, my favorite chocolate's rum and raisin,
okay.
dark chocolate. So like at least twice a week she'll bring me this big block of dark chocolate. I'm like, oh, come on, man. Like,
You're not doing daddy any
I
favors.
know, I'm like, oh, I love you, but stop it,
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, what are some of the most significant changes or shifts you've observed in the industry or the market kind of over the last couple of years?
Like in the advertising industry.
Yeah, within advertising.
um People, well, okay, so with the YouTube side, um Google's constantly making changes,
Mhm.
right? And it's very frustrating. But what you do is you just work around it. So for example, we used to create long content ads that were like 5 minutes long. Google changed, and we were doing really well with them, but then Google changed the way they did things, and now they're like, no, you need videos less than 3 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So you just, yeah, so we have to adapt to that. And then we had to, like, the structure of ads. So with YouTube ads, so you have a whole structure for them. That's changed a bit to what's working, what wasn't working. So, you know, um, and then obviously ad platform itself changes. They add in different inventory options. Every platform does this. Facebook does it. Google does it. And for those who don't know, Google owns YouTube. So if I say Google and not YouTube, I just use them interchangeably.
Right.
You just gotta work around it. So like they add an inventory, and what inventory is basically just different options that you can select or deselect, whatever. But most of these options are like traffic traps, the money traps. So they just suck your money down an endless bottomless pit. And yeah. Other than that, it's just people are consuming content differently. And so the reason why we went to YouTube is because, like, for example, on Facebook, people scroll through Facebook and they're just like in that dead zone, just zombie, just scrolling. You know, oh, look, a cat. Oh, funny. Oh, look, someone's food. You know, like it's, yeah, we're on YouTube. They're usually there on YouTube to learn something, right? Or to be entertained or whatever it may be, catch up on the news, you know, watch a sport thing, like a highlights, whatever it may be. So the mindset on YouTube is a lot different than on Facebook and LinkedIn and a lot of other things, right? Which is why we switched to YouTube. And the great thing about YouTube is the biggest change in the advertising industry is like 90+% of people are on Facebook advertising on Facebook. Whereas in America, 8%, it's 8% of business, 8% of advertisers actually use YouTube.
Only 8%.
Yeah, only 8%.
Wow.
And the reason that is because of the barrier to entry, right? So with Facebook, you just throw up some text, throw in an image, or maybe if you're doing a video ad, but most of the time it's just an image, you know, and away you go. You turn off to your landing page or website. Whereas in YouTube, you got to create a script, you know, you have to create a video, and then you have to edit the video. And so there's a big barrier to entry, a bigger barrier to entry than, like, for example, or Google search. You know, it's harder to get into. So as a result, and people don't like creating content. People don't, because people are lazy, right? But those who are willing to put in the effort and the work and push through that barrier, you know, there's massive rewards to be gained. Because with the YouTube, you have 5 seconds, and with skippable ads, right? You have 5 seconds to say to grab the attention of your client before they skip away, right? So in the first 5 seconds, I can say, hey, is your YouTube advertising turning your hair 50 shades of gray? Maybe you should try YouTube ads, right? So in that 5 seconds, I've just said that. Anyone who's not doing Facebook ads, they're gonna click skip.
Right.
Anyone who is turning Facebook ads, they may hit skip, but it's perked their ears, right? And it's put the idea of YouTube ads in their head, right? Oh, well, what about YouTube ads, right? So then they listen to the rest of my ad, which goes for about 2 minutes, and then usually many times they'll hit the button and they'll come to my website or my landing page and, you know, see whatever I have to offer. And so there's a big quality difference between, I find, Facebook ads, between Facebook traffic and YouTube traffic. YouTube traffic tends to be a lot more qualified. It can be a little bit more expensive, a little bit, but the quality, but the end return on ad spend is a lot higher, because the quality that comes from YouTube is a lot better than Facebook. And like the targeting on YouTube is just like insane. So for example, if you have a competitor, right, or a number of competitors, and you want to target the people that visit their websites, you can do that with YouTube, right? If you want to target people who have typed in certain search terms on the Google search bar, you can target them, right? If your dream humans are using specific apps in the Google App Store, you can target them with a YouTube ad. What else? If people who watch certain YouTube videos or certain YouTube channels, right? You can target those users, right? So you can get super granular, right? You can target household income levels. So if you have a high ticket offer and you want to target the top 30% of income users, boom, you can do that with YouTube ads. You want to target the top 10%, you can do it with YouTube ads. The targeting is just insane. So you have this immense, insane targeting with a super targeted message in your ad that then goes to a super targeted message on a landing page with an offer that's designed specifically for them, and matches that what's in that message. Yeah, it's amazing. It's crazy.
And that's great, because then you're not wasting dollars of people who aren't interested in what you have, aren't your kind of target or your avatar type thing. And then that's great, because then you can be more focused.
Exactly. So like with YouTube, like you can, with the income targeting on YouTube, you know, many times you don't hear the words, "Oh, I just don't have the money for it right now," right? Because of the income targeting. Right? I mean, you still hear it, but you don't hear it nearly as often, not nearly as often, right? And then if you're targeting specific websites, or if you're targeting specific search terms on Google search, right, with your YouTube ad, well, you know that they're in the market to buy this, they're in the market for this. So you don't hear the words, "Oh, you know, I don't have the money," very often, but then you also don't hear the words, "Oh, right now it's not really the right time," you know, because they're actively looking up, you know, your types of services, or your type, you know, specific problems that you have the solution for, and that sort of thing. So it's the targeting,
a lot of time for everyone. I mean, because I don't like to, you know, I personally believe like time is our most precious asset. And so
100%.
if we're talking with people, whether they're, you know, it may not be the right time for them. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes it is the financial factor, but, you know, we're using our time, and all as business owners, you know, we really, our time is extremely precious, and we don't want to be wasting it, because we want to be either, you know, working on our business, doing what we're doing, making things better, or spending time with our families.
Yeah.
And so it's great when we can really kind of target that advertising to people, so we can truly help people get the results that they're looking for.
Yeah, 100%, 110%. And so that's why I think YouTube ads is the game changer for any business. Even if you're a local business, brick and mortar business, YouTube's great. Then it allows you to stop being the best kept secret, right? So perfect example is, I have a client named Ash, and he runs a brick and mortar fishing tackle shop, right?
Okay.
But he does tackle, he does camping, he does scuba diving, you know, like that's how I met him, was through my diving, right? And I was like, dude, we should do YouTube ads together. He's like, okay. So anyways, and so we started running YouTube ads for him. And he would have people come to the shop and say, "Oh, hey, I saw your YouTube ad. I didn't know you were here." And they live like a mile and a half away, right? They're not very far away. But see, the way his shop is positioned, it's next to the road, but the strip mall, I don't know if you call it, what you call it, strip mall.
Yeah, we have strip malls. Yeah.
Yeah. So the strip mall there, his shop kind of faces away from the street a little bit.
Okay.
It's at an angle. Anyways, like, "Oh, I didn't know you were here." And I've been living in this area for like 6 years. Anyways, so he'd keep having people come in saying, "Oh, I've seen your YouTube ad, saw your YouTube ad, saw your YouTube ad." And so
you really target that area, the people who are interested in those things, and specifically in that area. So it's not, you know, people that are hundreds of miles away.
Yeah. And the great thing is when you're doing like local shop, like local service businesses and awareness type stuff, you only pay if people click on your ad, or if they watch at least 30 seconds of your ad. Right. Nice. So it's just like, if someone doesn't watch 30 seconds of your ad, you don't pay for it.
It's almost like free advertising.
It almost is.
They're still seeing it, but not the whole thing. And they may come back to it later, or mention it to someone else.
Exactly. So so it's a perfect for local businesses, and you don't have to spend a lot. You don't have to spend a ton of money doing it, you know. But it's just getting past that barrier, as I said, creating the script, creating the ad, editing the ad, getting past that. Oh, is it, that analysis paralysis, it's not perfect. Oh, like just put it out there and then improve it later on. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
And so that's the hardest part. But yeah, I love YouTube ads because it's almost perfect for almost any niche except for like e-commerce. It's hard with e-commerce. It really is.
Okay.
Like if you're looking for lead generation, foot traffic, like local traffic to your business, brick and mortar business, it's great. E-commerce, it's a bit harder with e-commerce. So yeah, for those e-commerce people, I'm sorry, like it's just,
well, but I mean, but it's good for them to be aware though too, right? So they have to think of, and we all need to figure out what's going to work best for us, what we need to do, and that's based around our business. And that's why there are different platforms and different things, because different ones work differently for different people and different
100%.
business.
Yeah, 100%.
So if Marcus, if somebody wanted to work with you because you know so much about the YouTube ads and they're overwhelmed, or they're just like, I don't even know where to start, or maybe they've been thinking I've been wasting so much money, where can they find you? You
can just find me at titanmarketer.com. We have some training on that page. It tells you a bit more about YouTube ads. And then you can book a call with me or one of my team members. It'll be me or my business partner. So Ben. Yeah, titanmarketer.com. I also have a YouTube channel. Just type in Marcus Svedin, and then you'll see my big, beautiful face and on the channel. So I started just March. So it is small. I actually had one video that's like exploded, right?
Really?
Yeah. So like most of my videos were like getting like, I don't know, like 5-10 views a day. And I was like, oh, this is starting to suck, right? But I'm like, stick with it. Yeah, stick with it. That's the thing. Yeah, stick with it, right? And then I did one video about how to steal competitors' traffic, right? How to ethically steal your competitors' traffic, right? And for about 2 weeks, that was just like steadily growing, 20 views here, 10 views there. And then one day it just exploded. Like if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see it. And right now it's like 18,000 views on it. I was like, whoa, like one day, like for like a whole week, I was getting like 2,000 views a day. I was like, this is insane. Yeah. And that's when I became a truly converted YouTube organic person. I was like, yep, this is cool. I like this. So,
and that was an organic one that you did?
That was an organic one.
Okay, great.
But that's like a whole nother thing. Like,
right. Yeah.
YouTube ads is completely different than YouTube organic. So like direct advertising with Facebook or YouTube, that's like the quickest bang for your buck. Right. Quick dollars in, quick dollars out. Right. And it works. It works well for us. But organic, it's a slow burn. Like when I say slow burn, I mean a slow burn.
Well, as you said though too, like some of them you're getting 2, 3, 4, 5 views, and then a little bit more, and that's the long-term gain. So it's probably as you do is have a bit of a combination of both things. Yeah,
exactly. So you can check me out both those places. So titanmarketer.com and on my YouTube channel. So.
Perfect. Great. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. There's some great tips there for our listeners, and hopefully some will be in touch with you to help them out with their YouTube marketing.
No worries. Take care.